Now, Leader of Opposition in the Rajya Sabha, Arun Jaitley, is also expected to raise the Kishtwar communal violence in Parliament today. Yesterday, remember, Jaitley was scheduled to visit the town but was stopped at the Jammu airport. The BJP has condemned the move by the state government, saying by not allowing leaders to visit Kishtwar, the government is trying to hide the facts. But Chief Minister Omar said attempts were being made by parties to politicize the issue ahead of elections, and his government won't allow that. And my colleague Rahul Srivastava spoke to Arun Jaitley. Here's an exclusive chat with the leader.
Situation in Kishtwar, Jammu and other regions remains tense. Leader of opposition, Mr. Arun Jaitley, is with us. You're making a habit of coming back from Jammu, not reaching where you are supposed to.
Well, what would have happened if any of the BJP government repeatedly prevents the AICC president or the general secretary or any senior Congress leader from entering the state under section 144? What would have been the level of outrage in public and in the media? I'm saddened to say that this is completely not only unconstitutional, it is unacceptable. That every time the senior leaders of the opposition come, last time Sushma ji and I went, this time I went, you use section 144 prohibitory orders to effectively extern them from the state. You ban their entries into the state. Now at the peak of the Amarnath movement, Mr. Shivraj Patil took all of us to Srinagar and Jammu, both which were tense, and all party meeting started soothing the tempers. At the peak of the stone-throwing agitation, Mr. Chidambaram took all of us. And it really did work. So, political leaders, we are not going to address rallies or inflame passions. We must know the truth. Your media today is censored because you are not being allowed to enter Kishtwar. You want to censor the political class and parliament of this country, that they must also not come to know as to what is happening in Kishtwar. Why did for 6 to 7 hours violence go on unabated? What was the Home Minister of Kashmir doing there? What was the SSP and the collector of the district doing there? Was it completely a one-sided violence?
Mr. Omar Abdullah says that this was just to ensure that only the doves reach. It is just to keep the tempers down. Political people reaching there might actually disturb peace.
Well, we would have sat in the circuit house and met the victims. I think he wanted to prevent the truth from coming out. For 3 days, he effectively managed to impose a censorship in this country with nobody knowing as to what was happening in Kishtwar. Our going there has brought it to the center stage, and people must know. Please look at the larger picture. It's not an issue between two communities. It's an issue of India's sovereignty. You have ethnically cleansed the valley. One minority community, the Kashmiri Pandits, have been driven out. Today, fortunately for us, with army presence and other factors, terrorism is a little low. As far as the valley is concerned, it's a great sign for this country. There's an effort being made to revive it in the hilly ranges of Jammu division.
You're trying to say that what happened in Srinagar vis-a-vis the minority there is being replicated in these areas?
Otherwise, you have flags of a neighboring country being carried. You have objectionable posters being carried. You had posters put up 3 days earlier. People had been objecting as to what would, and protesting that this is likely to happen. And yet you took no action. And to cover up for the lapses of the state police, the Prime Minister of India was spoken to at 2 o'clock. Officials of the Home Ministry have been spoken to. And you don't see an army presence there till 7 in the evening. And it's during this period that the army deployment was delayed. I'm told the centre was repeatedly advising that the army presence be done. The deployment itself was being delayed, and you had this huge violence which went on unabated.
You totally rule out the possibility that this is a mishandling. You're saying there is a bit of a design to it?
You see, if you ask the local population there, they've been speaking to us telephonically and otherwise. They suspect the hand of, or at least the laxity, if not the complete involvement of a senior state politician. And that's why the police and the district administration took no action. And fortunately, they were rightly removed that very day for not taking any action.
Will you demand some kind of a delegation, all-party delegation, which was a norm earlier?
I think people going there to control the temperature, you meet both the communities, you give them a forum to address their grievances, you know what's happening. Censorship is not the answer.
How does it play out in Parliament? Now, will the BJP like to raise it to the government that this is what exactly is happening?
Obviously, you can censor what's happening there, but you can't really prevent the country from knowing what's happening there.
The temperatures rising here in Delhi, do you think can have an impact? Perhaps might be playing into the hands of those who want to actually disturb the harmony?
I think these are arguments of those who want to support or condone this kind of an activity. I think such an activity, first of all, you must know what's happening and then you must find a solution. If you censor what's happening, then how do you find a solution?
Would you have welcomed the fact that if the Chief Minister himself had come and met you in Jammu and briefed you on it?
I certainly had no problems of this kind, whether it was not necessary for him to come and meet me. I would have preferred that if he was stopping me, at least he should have gone himself to Kishtwar and soothed the tempers.
It's a crucial day also because the food security bill and several important legislations are lined up. Now
we are willing to support and cooperate in legislations that we are supporting. If we have a difficulty in some, we won't support. But then, a broad style of functioning of Indian Parliament and a fair functioning is, you allow us to raise your issues, we allow the government business.
Now, how does it play out in Parliament? Because it is what will you demand from the central government vis-a-vis the situation in Kishtwar and areas so that Parliament can function?
Well, we'll raise our demand. I can't disclose it here, but certainly all facts must be come out. And somebody has to be accountable why this happened for so many hours. And somebody has to be accountable. Today is the 4th day. Not a single arrest has been made. Now, is there a connivance of the state? That's the suspicion which is being raised. And therefore, as I said, this is not merely a law and order problem of the state. The kind of flags which have been shown, the kind of posters which have been shown, this is an issue of India's sovereignty, and India's parliament is directly concerned.
I'm seeing very strong words from you, Mr. Jaitley. I've seen you as more of a political moderate. Are you not worried that somewhere the situation, because of this kind of voices, or perhaps the tensions which are prevailing, might spiral out? Is there a sense of worry?
The situation is out of control. It has to be brought under control. And by having an ostrich-like approach, that not knowing what's happening, you certainly can't control the situation.
Thank you.